Hi everyone, I'm Jenna Schulman. I am a college consultant in Northern New Jersey, and there is a lot of construction going on in the house that I'm at right now, so I'm really sorry about this. But if you're joining us for the first time, I'm hosting these college spotlight series all summer long where I'm spotlighting a different college all summer, so students that don't have the chance to visit can learn a lot more about academics, student life, and how to get into that college. So I am very excited to have the University of Alabama. I've sent a student every year to Alabama. Every one of them have liked it. I actually had a lot of students to choose from when I was thinking of who I could invite from a past student of mine to come on and talk about their experience. So I also have Thomas, who'll be joining us in a little bit to talk about his freshman year that he just finished at the University of Alabama and his experience. And then I have Judy, who is the admissions counselor, and she also has a student that she'll bring on a little bit later. And Judy is the New York and New Jersey admissions counselor. So if you are applying from one of those states, which I believe most of you are, she will be the one to help you with your application and will likely know a lot about your high school and everything like that. So I will let Judy take over in a minute. And then I'm going to also monitor questions and answers throughout this whole event. I already have someone that asked about recorded past webinars. I'll send those out soon. I'm sorry, I've been slow on getting the recordings together. And then I'll continue to ask questions to either Thomas or the other student and Judy as well. So keep them in. They make our session a lot better. And Judy, here you go. I'm excited to have you.
Well, I'm excited to be here, Jenna. Thank you so much for inviting me to this series. This is a great way for students to get to know a lot about different colleges, especially now when going out on the road and doing road trips and doing those college visits is not really in the plans. So it's a really great way for students to learn a lot about all the different universities that they're going to look at. So I feel that the best way for me to begin is by giving you maybe a little taste of what Alabama will look like. So I'm going to share my screen. And now I just have to make sure that I can pull up. There it is. Roll Tide to that. And now I want to make sure that we are no longer going to see anything. And I have to get back to my screen. Hold on one second, guys. And now here we are. Okay, so a little bit about me. I'm hoping that you had you just in that 2-minute video you were able to feel the presence of what it would be like to be walking through campus on a visit. It really kind of dials into the experience that most students have when they arrive on campus, and I know as a parent, it's the experience that I had when I arrived. A little bit about me. I am a parent of a UA graduate. He graduated from the University of Alabama in May of 2019. And I'm also the parent of a current student, and she is a rising junior. I know a lot about many of the programs that UA has to offer, and I'm here to try to paint you a picture of what a day in a life of a student would be like. So I'm going to just start off with some numbers. I mean, they are boring, but they are always very helpful when you are looking at the size of a university and how you would be able to fit into the university. So our enrollment is around 33,000 undergrads. Our faculty to student ratio is, I would say, I'm being generous by saying about 24:1. When you are dialed into your program and you are in your junior or senior year, most programs will have a faculty to student ratio much smaller than that. The average GPA and test score of our fall of 2019 class was a 3.8 GPA with a 28 ACT, or that equivalates to a 1280 SAT. Our requirement for admission is a 3.0 GPA with a 28 ACT or a 1060 SAT. So as you can see, there's quite a bit of difference between the average and our minimum requirement. We have over 200 majors, and we have, if that and more, minors. I also like to add that the University of Alabama is the smallest large school that I have ever encountered. And you might ask me why I say that. I say that because our campus, even though it's a 1,000-acre campus and we have all of this school spirit, everybody is just a community. We call ourselves the Bama family or the Bamily. So just feel that if you are going to be part of our campus, you are going to be part of a larger network than just yourself. You are never isolated. You are never just left alone to your own devices. We have 650 clubs that you can join on campus. If you don't find something to your liking, you could always create a club, which is a fabulous opportunity for you. But most students do find some sort of club or activity that they do love to belong to. We also have the #1 sorority recruitment in the country. Our interfraternity council has 38 fraternities. Our sororities have 17, or we have 17 sororities that go through our formal sorority recruitment. I'd like to get back to our school spirit for a moment. Our university has a thriving campus with opportunities galore for students to foster well-balanced and well-versed graduates. We have a really cool college town where students have limitless opportunities for entertainment and for fun. School spirit transcends many generations. It is said that when you attend school on our campus, you leave a piece of your heart in Tuscaloosa, and I can attest to that. It's true. Just watching that video before, my heart started to pound a little bit, and it made me realize just how much I really miss being on campus. It is said also that many people come from around the country, and they come to our campus on game days. Game days are a sight to behold on our campus. The quad is filled with like-minded people all cheering on their love of football and their love of the Crimson Tide. There is nothing like seeing the campus population swell to tens of thousands of people with a common goal. And all that goal is to cheer on our football team. From babies to grandparents, the campus bounds with energy pouring from the stadium. So walking to campus is very enjoyable. You can see behind me, my picture is, I'm literally on the quad, and behind me is Denny Chimes. Denny Chimes is a building that was dedicated to George Denny. He was one of our presidents. He was president in the early 1900s. And that tower chimes every hour on the hour. And sometimes it chimes on the 15 and the 45. You will also get emails if you are on campus, and sometimes it chimes in recognition of things that have been done or achievements that have been done by students and faculty on campus. So it's a very special place to be. It is also the pathway to Denny Chimes is where we have our Walk of Champions, where we have the captains for the football team. They have their hand and their footprints in the concrete right around where Denny Chimes is. So it's a very, very great place that kids and families like to come, and they like to look at campus, but they also love to take pictures, or especially the little ones try to put their feet inside of the football players' concrete shoes. Parents come to campus not only in the fall for our Parents' Weekend, but parents are also invited to come to campus during our sorority and fraternity parent weekends. Some sororities and fraternities only do them in the fall. Some do them in both the fall and the spring. Many Greek organizations hold these weekends so that it's a wonderful time to see students with their friends, with their sisters and their brothers, and they get to experience campus life the way that their students do. I mentioned before that we have the #1 sorority recruitment in the country, but if you feel that that is not something that you want to do, don't worry. Only 30% of our campus is involved in Greek life, so 70% of the student body is doing something else. I wanted to touch base just a little bit on our application process. So right now, we have put a hold on our application for fall of 2021. We are reevaluating how we will be evaluating your application. Normally, we would be evaluating your application with just your high school transcript and your test scores. Well, we understand that since COVID-19 hit, that there has been issues with students trying to register for tests. Centers have been canceling, and your dates just keep getting pushed out and out and out. So the university is taking a very hard look to see how we can most benefit students and to give every student the best opportunity that we can for that they could be considered for admission. So while normally our application would have been open this week, our application will open no later than July 31st. I also wanted to touch base that on December 15th is our deadline for our priority admission. So if you are an admitted student before December 15th, you will be able to apply for our competitive scholarships and be considered for our automatic merit scholarships. The automatic merit scholarships are determined through your GPA and your test scores that you submit. Again, not sure how that's going to play out this year, but I want you to be aware that they are on our website and that the dollar amounts of those automatic awards have a range between $8,000 and $26,000 a year for 4 years. So the deadline to apply for our competitive scholarships would be January. I believe it's going to be about mid-January this year. And our deadline for our priority housing will be, again, February 1st. So there are so many different reasons that students come to our university. Some want to participate in our Greek life, and some want research opportunities that we offer. And there are others who come because of our honors college, and because we have many fellows and scholars programs that are open to our first-time freshmen, and the ability to participate in one of the several living learning communities that we offer our freshmen is also another reason. We have our McCullough Institute for Pre-Med Scholars, and that offers a minor in interdisciplinary medical studies for a small cohort of aspiring physicians. Our Blunt Scholars Program is a selective 4-year living learning community featuring small seminar-style classes, intensive interaction with faculty, and an integrated interdisciplinary curriculum leading to a minor in liberal arts. This program is open to students of any major. We embrace students who come to campus and want to be part of our community and want to give back to one of our 650 clubs and organizations. Did you know that the University of Alabama has 12 alumni and students who have won Fulbright scholarships this year? We have 57 Goldwater Scholars, 36 Holling Scholars, 16 Truman Scholars, 15 Rhodes Scholars, and 15 Boren Scholars. Additionally, we have the distinction of being second nationally among public universities for National Merit Scholars. There are 256 in the fall 2019 freshman class, and more than 700 are among our 33,000 undergraduates. There are 3 ways that students can receive an accelerated master's while they are still classified as an undergraduate student. The STEM path and CREATE path to the MBA programs allow high-achieving undergraduate students to complete coursework and earn an MBA in only 1 additional calendar year beyond undergraduate graduation. Our STEM path program was launched in the fall of 2011, and the CREATE path was launched in the fall of 2016. Both have seen a very high level of success among our graduates. And speaking of success with our graduates, while you are on campus, you have the ability to take advantage of internship programs that are offered through your college of choice. So I don't know if any of you know, but the Princeton Review came out earlier this month and stated that University of Alabama is number 2 in the country as a school that has the best internships for its students. The university has worked very hard so that every college has their own dedicated area to assist students so they can get that practical work experience before they head off into the work world. And also our Career Center works with students to provide leads on internship experiences through their Handshake program. All of the internship opportunities that are sent out to our students through Handshake have been vetted through our Career Center. There are people that are hired just to make sure that these internship opportunities are clear and that they would be a good match for our students. And I know you're probably not thinking about what you're going to be doing 4 years from now or 5 years from now when you graduate college. But did you know that 90% of students who graduate from UA have a full-time job or in a graduate program 6 months after graduation? The national average for that is 63%. There are almost 4,000 alumni that are living right now in the New York City area who work for such companies such as Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, IBM, Memorial Sloan Kettering, Amazon, Ernst & Young, and Deloitte. I mention these companies because we have a very robust pre-med program. We also have the number 10 accounting program in the country. And just a slight plug for our College of Communications and Information Studies, our public relations program has been in the top 5 in the country for the past 9 years. So while you may think that Alabama is a wonderful place to enjoy this glorious school spirit and to really be infused with some wonderful Southern hospitality and to walk the hallowed halls of people who have graduated before you and to get all of that history that's been steeped since 1831, we also have fabulous programs that will make you a successful member of society on the flip side. Because I know as a parent, I especially was concerned about that as my 3rd child was heading to University of Alabama. I wanted to make sure that he was able to have opportunities that would be able to transcend the college experience. And on a positive note, my son was offered a job 3 months before graduation, so he already had known where he was going to go to school, where he was going to take his college career after he graduated. We have fantastic internship opportunities. I had mentioned that before, but I want to mention some of the firms that participate in our robust internship programs. ESPN is one of those firms that participates, as well as Jimmy Kimmel Live, Saturday Night Live, Mercedes-Benz Corporation, Nissan, NASA, and Lockheed Martin are just a few of the companies that participate in our internship programs. Our business and engineering schools have a very robust co-op program. So if you are not sure what a co-op program is, a co-op program affords you the opportunity to work off campus for 3 semesters. So you alternate your school and your work experience. You will be working full-time, 9 to 5 or 8 to 4 in a job. But the best thing about a co-op experience is that you get paid for that co-op experience. So you'll be earning money. So not only will you be earning money and you'll be able to afford, groceries and an apartment. Some of the co-ops, even what they would do is they will make sure that you have a stipend to help afford your living expense. It's that co-op experience that I know that has taken our graduates, especially in the business and engineering areas, into such wonderful firms, like I had mentioned before, as NASA and Lockheed Martin and Amazon and UPS. A lot of these engineering firms and these business firms, as you are a student and you complete your internship or your co-op opportunity, they will offer you a full-time job as you are leaving. So that also gives students a very big peace of mind to realize that they are able to do that. Twice a year, about 450 companies travel to campus to interview our students for these opportunities. Sometimes we have to turn companies away because we don't have the time and we can't fit them in our space. This valuable work experience paired with our outstanding academics makes our students prized commodities upon graduation. Another little fun fact for our engineering majors out there, our engineering quad has its own wind tunnel, which was designed by Mercedes-Benz, an award-winning astrobotics team, and an award-winning Formula SAE team. I believe our Formula SAE team placed in the top 10 in the country last year when they were competing in races. We also have a strong study abroad program. So many students ask me about our study abroad program. So just so that you know, when we are able to have it be up and operational, we are afforded the luxury of having over 200 colleges affiliated with UA abroad over 6 continents. We have our study abroad opportunities through our Honors College. We also have those opportunities through the college itself. And then we also have one more opportunity that we have through our study abroad office, which is located in our international building, B.B. Comer Hall. Another fun fact about the university, a lot of potential students ask me, how am I going to fit in at the University of Alabama? It's a real Southern school. I'm coming from New Jersey. I'm coming from New York. Well, fun fact for you, 63% of our students are from out of state. We have many support services for all of our students on campus. Our first year experience provides students with support and mentorship during their first year on campus, which is vital when you are coming from a faraway place. Most likely, though, as you are walking around on campus, you're going to find people from New York and New Jersey, and you're going to really bond. Probably you're going to bond over the lack of Italian food, which I'm going to tell you, yeah, it's a thing. But good thing for you, you will not have to lack for the there will be bagels for you on campus, is what I'm trying to say. We have a wonderful downtown area that has many restaurants. Barbecue will become your favorite food. We have some fabulous barbecue restaurants downtown, and downtown is only about 1.5 miles from campus. So you can hop on a quick Uber ride, you could hop a ride with a friend. Our busing service only takes you around the campus, so you can't have the bus take you downtown, but there are plenty of ways for you to get there. We have two fantastic Mexican restaurants downtown, but the one place I want to talk to you about is it's called Cravings. It has a really mean Taylor ham, egg, and cheese on a bagel. I have a guest speaker who will be able to speak about some of the food that we have down there. It's really a great opportunity for you to try some other types of food, but know that when you come home, there's nothing like having some good Italian food in the New York, New Jersey area. We do have some good Chinese food down in Tuscaloosa. And like I said, the barbecue is just amazing. You will really develop a flair for that. So let me tell you about life around campus, because that's something that I know that is going to influence a lot of you. Tuscaloosa is actually a real town. So when the university was built, it was commissioned in 1820 to be built, and the city of Tuscaloosa was actually the capital of the state of Alabama at the time. By the time that the university became built in 1831 and was open for business, the capital had moved, actually the capital moved to Montgomery by that time. So no longer the capital, but the town built around the university. So there was all this land, and they were able to build all of these beautiful buildings that have a cohesive feel. So when you're walking through campus, as you saw in the video that I presented before, that it's a very cohesive, homey feel, that you don't feel that there's very much of a juncture between, oh, this building was built in 1864, and oh, this building was built in 2003. It's really, it lends itself to, for campus being a very open and very welcoming place. We have an area right off campus, right past the football stadium. It is called the Strip. And the Strip has some restaurants and some shops, so that where you can go and get some of your Bama swag, and some eateries that if you're kind of getting sick of that campus food, you don't want to really have Chick-fil-A or Starbucks or Sbarro or Panda Express, you'll be able to go and check out some of the restaurants down there. Moe's, we have a Moe's Barbecue, fully downtown, but we have a Moe's Mexican restaurant right on the Strip, along with some other pizza restaurants. There's a few Greek restaurants there. It's a very eclectic mix. So all of that is very near campus. And that's the great thing, is that you can basically walk right down the hill from the center of campus where your dorms would be, and right to the football stadium. Some of you might have to cross the quad to get there, but some of you might not. You can walk corner to corner in campus in about a half an hour, which is a wonderful thing, knowing that we have a 1,000-acre campus. And I say that because, yes, we do have a lot of this space, but a lot of it is open space, a lot of it is green space. You can't see from where I'm at by the picture behind me, but the quad is just picturesque. Our campus actually was voted the #1 most Instagrammable campus in the nation. We also have the largest Starbucks on a college campus in the nation. I know, it surprises me too, but yes, that is exactly what I have read. Also, in our rec center, we have one of the largest rock walls on a college campus. So speaking of our rec center, we not only have one rec center, we have two. And one is on one side of campus and one will be in the other. It's located in our Robert E. Witt Activity Center. And that is located right between two of our dorms. So if you live in Presidential Village 1 or 2, which are two of our suite style buildings, you would just be able to go right downstairs and come out of your door and go right back into the gym. We have fitness classes. We have we have treadmills, we have bikes, we have weights, we have floors of weight machines. So there's no excuse for you not to be active on campus. One other thing that I know students always like to know about, they like to know about eating on campus. So don't worry, we feed you when you get to campus. As a freshman, you would have an unlimited meal plan, which means that no matter where you are or where you go, there's many different places where you can stop and be able to eat on campus. And you are unlimited to your amount of stops that you can do that with. So you pay one fee, and if you want to hop in and get an apple or an orange or a banana, and you want to go back in an hour and grab a box of cereal, or maybe it's late at night and you want to go down to the WIT and get some ice cream or some gummy bears to keep you up so you can study. That's all part of your meal plan, and you'll be able to do that. Lastly, I want to touch on our athletics. So we are a D1 athletic school, which means that our athletes are really at the finest level. They are right below what pro athletes are. Good thing for you is that you can experience going to these events as a student. As a student, you'll be able to attend our football games, our gymnastics meets, our softball, our baseball, volleyball, and our baseball, volleyball, softball. Yeah, I think that's all the ones that are seated events. And then we also have an award-winning crew team. So we have Alabama Rowing has a fabulous team, and we also have a golf team. Some of our club sports are equivalent to our D3 sports. So our Alabama hockey team travels throughout the South, and they actually also go up into the North, and they will compete with many schools. They have really been an asset to our program. And there are opportunities also, if you are interested, there are opportunities for you to work with the Alabama football team, whether as an intern or helping out just with ticket sales or anything else. So there's a lot of different ways that you'll be able to get involved. Another thing, I wanted to just mention that I really can't wait to work with all of you as you are trying to make your college decisions. I know this is, it's a very uncertain time, but my job is to make sure that you have all of the answers to the questions that you have, and for you and your families to enter this process and to get your answers and to make this as stress-free as possible for all of you. So with that, I'm going to say a hearty Roll Tide, and I'm going to hand it back to Jenna. So Roll Tide, guys.
Woo! That's funny because my fiance came into the room and saw that I was talking to Alabama and also yelled out Roll Tide, and he didn't even go there. I think it's just like the first thing people associate with.
Well, it is the universal greeting. When you say hello, when you say goodbye, how's the weather? How are you doing? The answer to everything is just Roll Tide.
I love it. Judy, I think before when you were talking about the minimum requirements, the SAT, you had said something that didn't line with the ACT. So can you just repeat those again?
Okay. So our minimum to apply is a 3.0 GPA, a 21 ACT, or a 1060 SAT. Okay,
that sounds right. I think you said 28, and then I had a mom text me, and I was like, I don't know if she meant that.
No, but our average
is 28.
Our average is a 3.8 GPA with a 28 ACT and a 1280 or 1280 SAT. So right. That's where the average comes in, is the 28.
Okay, and then if you don't have the minimum, what happens? Are you automatically rejected, or is there a different program?
So if you do not have that minimum, either on grade point or on your test score, it goes before a review committee. We will never reject you. We will give you opportunities. So there are times where maybe we will ask you for a 7th semester grade. Maybe we will ask you to take another test. And even with that, if something doesn't line up, but we see that there's potential because of where you have attended school, because of the classes that you have taken, or the classes that you've attempted to take in. And let's face it, there are some times that some students don't really come into their own until they get to college. And that's because you are forced in high school to take, you have to take an English, you have to take a math, you have to take a science, you have to take history. There are some students that that's just not their flow. So sometimes they don't really hit their stride until they get to college. So we have a program, and it's called the Crimson Edge program. It's not a program that a student can apply for. That's why I want to make this very clear. It's a program that the admissions department, our processing area, will determine if you are a great candidate for. And what it is a support program for your first year at college. It will consist of a seminar program, and then you will take your general education requirements for 2 semesters. After those 2 semesters, you graduate from the Crimson Edge program. And then after that, you go to your home school. I use that in quotes because then you move on to your major. And then you are able to take the classes in communications or business or engineering or wherever you are winding up. It is a fabulous program. I cannot tell you how many students that I know personally that I have sent to Alabama that have participated in this program. And those students are now either on the dean's or president's list. 40% of those students that are in the Crimson Edge program are on the dean's or president's list every single semester.
Yeah, and we actually have one today who I'll bring on in a minute. I do have 2 yes or no questions that students have asked here. Is the school test optional?
So as of right now, okay, and I feel like I'm like holding back, but I truly don't know yet. We are reevaluating what our admission policy will be. That's why we're holding our application for another couple weeks, because we're going to reevaluate what that is. So as of this moment in time, June 30th at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, we are not test optional. We are requiring, because we only require a test score and a transcript to be admitted. We don't need letters of recommendation or essays. But that doesn't mean that tomorrow or next week or the week after that, that will change. So I'm just going to ask everybody to stay tuned and reach out to me, and I'd be happy to go through that process. And believe me, if we are test optional, I know, Jenna, you will probably shout it from the rooftops. So, but just be patient with us. We are really trying to work with the board of trustees and a lot of different people. Being a public university, it's a lot harder to make that decision.
Does the nursing program have direct entry?
So we have direct entry to the lower division. So it's broken up into lower division and upper division. For the lower division, as long as you are admitted to the University of Alabama and you choose the Capstone College of Nursing as your school that you wish to attend, you will automatically get into that. You have 4 semesters. On those 4 semesters, you'll be taking all of your science requirements. You'll be taking your gen ed requirements. In your 4th semester, you will also take, that's your 2nd semester of your sophomore year, you will take your TEAS test. And that TEAS score, along with an interview and along with your UA evaluated transcript, will help you gain admission to the nursing school. We have a cohort 3 times a year. We have our summer cohort, our spring cohort, and our fall cohort. Each cohort consists of 112 students, so that there is an 8-to-1 faculty to student ratio in our nursing program. Another fun fact, our May of 2019 students, our nursing students, 100% of those students passed their national licensure, their NCLEX exam. So kudos to the program. It's a wonderful, fabulous program, and these students are so prepared when they come out to be nurses.
What are living learning communities? Is it for honors? Do you need to apply for the honors program?
So I'm going to take that into 3 different sections. So if you qualify for our honors college, To be part of our honors college, you need to have a 30 ACT or a 1360 SAT along with a 3.5 GPA. If you have those numbers, you can then apply to our honors college. When you gain entry to our honors college, you can live in our honors dorms. And that's not a living learning community. That's just honors dorms for honors students. And you can choose to live there or you can live in regular dorms. Our Blunt Scholars Program is a living learning community, and you will be living in the Blunt dorm. And you only have to live there your freshman year, but you will be part of the cohort for all 4 years. Also, our communications program has an LLC, as well as our honors college does have a small LLC that you can be part of, but you don't have to be parts of those.
Okay, so I think we have about 15 minutes. Judy, do you have a hard out at 4:30, or if we go a little bit later, are you okay?
I'm fine.
Okay, because just I know the students, they usually have some good insight and a lot of questions. So everyone, I'm sorry if you go to 4:45. If you want to get off, you can. I will send out the recording. So without further ado, I'd love to introduce Thomas, and then Judy, do you want to bring on your other guests now or after?
I can bring on my other guest right now.
Why don't you give the introduction of her, and then I'll introduce Thomas.
Okay, I will. So I have a student, and she has lived in Northern New Jersey her whole life. She attended high school here, and she left on her journey in August of 2018 to go to the University of Alabama. She is a rising junior. She is a member of Kappa Alpha Theta sorority. She is part of our Crimson Tide Productions, which is a paid internship on campus. She got that position about a month in from being when she was a freshman. I can speak highly of this student because she is my daughter. So she, it's always great when you have a family that can help you out. And thanking COVID to bring her home. So now she's been home, and now she can help me out on these things. So I'd love for her to present her experience of how it was for her to move forward through this process, and how she adjusted to campus and all the opportunities that she's been able to take advantage of. So I'm going to introduce to you my daughter, Leanna Salmonson.
Amazing. And I'm going to introduce Thomas while there's construction in the background. And Thomas is from Bergen County, and he was one of my students last year. He just finished his freshman year at Alabama, and he can tell you about his journey because he had some big schools to choose from, some small schools, and thought that small schools would give him that personal attention that he got at his private school and that he thought he needed, and realized soon enough that Alabama also gave him that great, personal attention. He joined a fraternity as well. So he can also talk about his student experience coming from New Jersey to Alabama. So I am taking questions, but I'll, I guess, kind of be the little moderator here. So I will have, I'm sorry, I totally blanked out on your name because I couldn't really hear your mom.
Oh, Leanna.
Leanna, okay, great. So Leanna, I guess tell me a little bit about your journey, how you chose Alabama, and what your experience has been like there.
So because my brother is 4 years older than me, he was already going to Alabama, and at first I really did not want to go to Alabama. Like I wanted nothing to do with it. And I think that's just because like my parents were very involved in Alabama, and they were all like, oh, like your brother goes there, like stuff like that. So we were visiting him. We visited him my freshman year of high school. Then we went back my junior year for like college visits. And because my brother is such a different major than me, he's an engineering major and I'm a communications major. I was never interested in what he was doing because it was all engineering and I was like all in the communications. And my junior year, I had a visit that was for me, and I got to see Reese Pfeiffer Hall, which is where all the communications classes are. And I got to see the Digital Media Center, which is where Crimson Tide Productions is out of, and WVUA 23, that's our new station on campus. So I got to see all of that stuff, plus go to an Alabama football game and sit in the student section with my brother. So then that's when I actually truly fell in love with Alabama.
Great. So Thomas, do you want to explain a little bit about your experience in high school and how you chose Alabama?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm from Northern New Jersey as well. I'm a finance major with a minor in communications. Um, yeah, going to a small private school for my years of high school kind of made me think I wanted to go to a smaller school. And I've always knew in the back of my mind that a big school might have been the way I wanted to go. Kind of more with like the whole football rah rah, all that kind of stuff. But once I got the chance to actually really look into a school like Alabama, I kind of realized that was the place for me. Due to the fact that there's alumni all over the country. That there's more to being in just Tuscaloosa. It's kind of when you take the step and go to Alabama, you're a part of more than just being there. You're part of a whole now you're part of a whole network that of people all around the country. And I always, that's what I wanted to be a part of. And like Jenna said, I had a bunch of small schools to choose from. I always thought I was going to go wrestle or play football in college at a smaller school. But then, like I said, looking more into it, I decided that a big school and specifically Alabama was for me.
Okay, great. And I guess, Liana, if you want to talk about your experience with the dorm, somebody asked what kind of dorm choices are there? And then I'll pass over to
So
anything.
I lived in a suite style dorm, so I roomed with 3 other girls, and we all had our own personal rooms, and then we shared a bathroom with one side of our suite mates, and that is in like Presidential Village and Riverside, and Ridgecrest is the honors dorms where a bunch of my friends lived in. Some of my friends lived in
Traditional.
and in like traditional style dorms. So like Tutwiler Hall is a traditional style, so roommate and then communal bathroom. And then there's kind of a hybrid dorm. My year it was called New Freshman, but it's called John England Hall now. They changed the name. That's where you have the roommate, but you have your own connected bathroom instead of having to share a bathroom with the whole floor.
Okay, and Thomas, do you want to talk about your dorm experience?
Yeah, so I was actually in Presidential Village as well. That is the suite style dorm with the that you share a bathroom with one other guy with one other guy, and then the 2 guys on the other side share the bathroom. You have your own bedroom. You have like a common area, which is like there's like a little kitchen area, and then also like a little living room. You can kind of tailor it to what you like. But then I had friends in pretty much every dorm. I had a few guys in John England, the new traditional style dorm, which is very nice. I know they all love living there. A few guys in Patey. I know that was just it's pretty new. They just redid it. They all liked it. And then I had a few guys in Ridgecrest, Riverside, and everywhere. You really can't go wrong with living at Alabama. Every dorm is pretty much nice. And I mean, it's all about what you really want. If you want to be with 3 other people and sharing a bathroom with just them, which I preferred, and that's what I ended up luckily getting. Yeah.
Okay. Leanna, do you want to talk about a little bit about the social aspects, like what a typical weekend is like at Alabama? Probably different in the fall than it is in the spring.
Yes, very different. So in the fall, there's obviously football on Saturdays, and that's like a huge thing. Everybody gets dressed up, and then freshman year, a bunch of my friends and I used to go to the quad and hang out and just walk around and watch people tailgate, and then go to the upper bowl or the lower bowl, depending upon what our tickets were, and go watch the football game. And then after, we just hang out, ordering food, or like maybe we go to the dining hall, but like mainly we would like go order out food and then like hang out the rest of the night. And then in the spring, it's like kind of different because like there's no football, but there's still things to do.
Okay, Thomas, do you want to give your perspective? Did you hear me? Oh, sorry. Thomas, do you want to give your perspective? I think he froze.
I think he's frozen.
I think he's frozen too. Okay. Leanna, I don't know, are you Jewish or do you know about Jewish life or maybe your mom does?
Actually, I do know about Jewish life. So, my a bunch of my friends and I this year we go to Hillel on Friday nights, and they provide food and Shabbat dinners and stuff, and it's actually really fun. The director of it, her name's Lisa. She's amazing. I love her so much. She's like my mom when I'm on campus because she provides food for us, and my friends and I, we like walk there from wherever we decide to meet. So sometimes we drive together or sometimes we walk. And then I'd be able to meet them at like, some of them were freshmen. So we met at Burke and then walked the rest of the way. And I remember one time it was like, we were having chicken or something for dinner and Lisa actually ran out of chicken. And my table was the last table to get food because we always wait until the line dies down. And she had dinosaur shaped chicken nuggets for us. And I don't know why, but we were so excited. And like one of our inside jokes is that like we can't wait to go to Hillel and get dino nuggets. So every week she'll have like sushi or taco mama, which is one of my favorite Shabbat dinners. Love taco mama. I highly recommend. We would have Ichiban, we would have Mr. Chen's, like any restaurant that she can get, she would have for us.
Also, mention about
And
Sundays.
Sundays they have a bagel brunch, which I love to go to before I'd get started on my homework for the weekend and studying for exams.
Yeah, I mentioned about
And
studying for exams.
During finals, she has study snacks and dinners every night for kids who want to study there. It's a very good place for studying. It's a very like multi-purpose space. And she set up the tables and stuff. There were designated quiet hours for us. You couldn't really talk unless it was like meal times or something. And it was just a very good space for me to focus in because I'm one of those people that like needs to have quiet or else I can't focus. So I'd highly recommend going if you want that little community.
Okay, awesome. Thomas, I think you cut out before, but do you want to talk a little bit about your social life and what a typical weekend is like at Alabama?
So I mean, I decided to join a fraternity because I thought that was what was for me, and it was the right choice. I have a lot of guys that I'm really, really good friends with, but then I know a lot of people that aren't in fraternities and just have the same amount of fun, if not more. Um, so yeah, typical weekend is kind of like, after Friday, you're just finishing up your classes. You go hang out with your friends, just kind of hang out on a Friday night, order food, hang out at the house, watch the games and stuff. And then Saturday morning, we go tailgate on the quad. We go have fun before the game. A lot of food and all the brothers just kind of hanging out. And we go to the game. And then after that, just go hanging out at the house, watching all the other football games that we're on. It's just kind of like being all together. And then Sunday, honestly, it's waking up in the morning and going to the library and doing all the homework that I kind of have a method where I do my homework and study on Sundays, and it's just kind of like an all day event, which I kind of prefer. But once you get to school, you're going to know how you study, how you do your homework, and how you learn. But yeah, so Sundays is kind of like waking up when I wake up and then walking over to the library. I like Gorgas just because it was closer to my dorm. Going over there and studying with some of my friends sometimes, or if I just wanted to be alone, I just go and find a quiet space in the library and get to work.
Great. Do any of you want to talk about how to get to Alabama? So maybe Leanna, if you want to talk about how to fly down there, drive down there.
So because I'm bringing my car, we drive. So before, my brother lived in Huntsville, we would split it up between driving down to Knoxville and then driving the rest of the way down to Alabama. But my brother lives in Huntsville now, so we stay with him when we drive up and back. So we're actually going to do the 14 hours in one day and then the 2 hours the next day to get to Tuscaloosa. But flights you can take from, I usually fly from Newark to Atlanta and then Atlanta to Birmingham, and it takes the whole day, but it's pretty quick. Like it doesn't it's like not too bad, but I honestly prefer the drive, if that doesn't make me sound like too crazy. But
Okay. Thomas, I know you explained it well to me on the phone about flying. Do you want to explain how you get down there?
Yeah, so I did the Birmingham route once or twice, I believe. But me and my family thought that it might have been better to take the cheaper flight out of Atlanta. And it's a direct flight you can go from Newark, JFK, LaGuardia, whatever's closest to you. It's usually cheaper. But a fair warning is it is like a 3-4 hour ride from Tuscaloosa to Atlanta, and you are in a shuttle. It's not the greatest thing in the world, but I mean, I do it with a bunch of friends and stuff, and it's really not bad. It really, really isn't. And the flight is just so much quicker going out of Atlanta, and you get home or you get to Atlanta you get the. I think it's a better route. But Birmingham is just so much closer to Tuscaloosa. Sometimes it's kind of just like I'd rather just take the layover.
Okay, great. Um, how how is it like the networking with New York? Because I know some people feel like, oh, I can't get an internship in New York. I know that you guys are a little bit or a little bit younger, but do you know of any internships that maybe you looked into that are in New York, or that maybe your friends have gotten? And I guess I'll go to Leanna first.
so if Corona didn't happen, I was actually supposed to have an internship at Cirrus, and that did not happen because of Corona. But so the university does like a pretty good job with, like, they have a career center where you could go and get your resume read and critiqued by someone who works there, and they help you try to network with companies and try to get your resume looking the best as it possibly can be, so you can get opportunities to work for companies. And if you want to work in New York, or let's say you want to work in Los Angeles, New York, Atlanta, like wherever, they have on Handshake, I think it's called. They have like a city selector and like companies you can apply for. And through the communication school, at least, I applied for the industry immersion program, and that means that you can go to a certain city. So I remember my really good friend last summer went to Chicago, and they got to go to a bunch of different companies and meet with them and get to see what like a day in the life is like, what different positions they have, how it is to work at that company. So it was like a whole week that she got to go to Chicago and look at all these different companies, and they span from being like advertising centers or working for a sports team. Like, let's say they're the Chicago Cubs, they got to go see them and get to look at the city and get to experience what it's like to work at that company.
Awesome. Very nice. Thomas, I know that you did the Crimson Edge program, which is something Judy talked about before. So do you want to talk a little bit about your experience in Crimson Edge?
Yeah, definitely. So I mean, going into it, I was like a learning needs student at the school I went to before I went to Don Bosco, if any of you guys are familiar with it. And going into it, the one thing my parents and I were kind of concerned about was it's such a big school, what kind of resources would I be able to get? And then kind of going to orientation and talking to my advisor, we kind of knew we were in good hands. And as he made my schedule with me, put me in like the classes that I should be taking, and just like in general, like I mean, I had access to so many more resources that helped me a lot to actually be on the dean's list my first semester, and just to help me adjust to being at a bigger type of school and making that big school kind of small in a sense, to where I could get that one-on-one attention that I was looking for in college in general. And even if not being in Crimson Edge, I have a bunch of friends that aren't, and there are so many resources on campus, whether it's the writing lab, there's always like tutors available for math. There's the math lab. There's so many resources on campus that if you want to be a successful student, you can be a successful student.
Thomas, you're very popular. Your phone keeps ringing.
I try to get it. I don't know how to mute it on the computer.
See, it's all your Alabama friends. You made so many friends. No, it's all good. Okay, so another big question that I always get when I'm consulting people, I'm sure Judy, you get that too, is, oh, going to the South from New Jersey, how is that? So Leanna, if you want to talk a little bit about the transition from New Jersey to Alabama.
It's very hot down there.
What was that?
So hot. It's so hot down there. It's hot and humid. You just got to get used to that. In the spring, it rains so much. Bring rain boots, rain jacket, waterproof, any of your stuff if you have to, because I remember last semester it like monsooned one time. People were making memes out of like this river that formed on campus. It was so bad. When I walk to class sometimes, I like see like little rivers running between the buildings. I have to like jump over them, and I'm 5'3", so that doesn't normally work for me. So then my shoes get wet, and it's not a good time when you have wet socks and you have a whole day of class ahead of you. You got to invest in some good rain boots, a rain jacket, because it'll start raining in like the middle of the day, and it'll be sunny 1 minute and then cloudy the next, and it'll go away, like with no warning. But personally, like I joined a sorority, so I had a bunch of those people there for me. I made some really good friends, and they're from all over the country actually. So one of the girls in my pledge class that I ran with on bid day, she is from 20 minutes from me. She's from Hohokus, and she's one of my really close friends. And I have my roommate in the house actually that I'm living in my sorority house next year. She is from New Orleans, Louisiana, and she took like 10 of us to go to New Orleans for Mardi Gras. And I have friends in California, I have friends in Kansas, and all across the country that I can just go and like visit if I want to. For spring break this year, I went to my friend's house in West Palm Beach, and I spent 2 weeks there with her and her family while we were trying to figure out what we were doing with Corona. And I found my people in my house, and I think they're going to be like my friends for life. And having them with me was a very crucial part of me adjusting to Alabama.
Great. And for those of you who haven't already Googled the University of Alabama sorority houses, they're like $10 million homes.
They are insane. Like you walk down Sorority Row and you're just like, this can't be real. Like they're full mansions and they're gorgeous.
Yeah, they would probably be $10 million if they were in North Jersey. So it's funny that you got to live in something like that. I've never been, but I've seen pictures. Thomas, if you want to explain a little bit more about the culture, the Southern culture, and everything like that.
Yeah. Going back to the whole weather thing, I kind of made a mistake and I ruined a pair of shoes that I got like prior to going to Alabama. It was a really nice day out, and I put them on, and it was my first day of wearing them, and then it started downpouring, and I was walking through puddles, and those shoes are destroyed now. So bring boots. They're definitely helpful. But yeah, I was going down there. I was a little nervous. I remember when me and my parents flew down here to move me in. I remember my mom was like, "Are you sure you want to do this?" And I was like, "Oh God, like here we go." And then it kind of made me like second guess. But then I got down there and I was like, yeah, like this is the place I wanted to go to school, and like this is like where I want to be. And the South is just so awesome, specifically Alabama, and specifically Tuscaloosa, Alabama. It really does have a piece of my heart. Like it's absolutely beautiful. The people there are just so nice, so nice. And I have like friends from all over the country, like California, Chicago, Maryland, Texas. And I have a friend from Texas that is one of my best friends. And I just think that whole experience is amazing because, I mean, like, when are you ever going to meet kids from all over the country? Like, ever again? Like, when are you ever going to be sitting next to somebody in class that's from Chicago and the other one's from, like, Colorado. Like, it's just like, I just think it's like such a cool concept, and I really couldn't have been happier, and couldn't have been happier of taking that step of transitioning to a school or transitioning to a state that my family wasn't into, that wasn't in. And I mean, like, I have a sister at the College of Charleston, and I know she loves the South, and she kind of persuaded me a little bit to go South, and I couldn't have been happier with my decision.
Thank you. I also like to give myself props because I persuaded you as well. All right, so I don't know if we have any other questions for the students. If we do, please ask them. Otherwise, I'm going to turn over to Judy. But before I conclude with the students, I would like to just give a little like last takeaway of final thoughts on Alabama, advice that you would give to those applying. So we'll start with Leanna.
Going to the University of Alabama truly changed my life. Like, I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like, it's one of the best decisions that I've ever made in my whole entire life, and that's saying something. I would highly encourage any student looking at Alabama to just go down and visit if you can. It's truly gorgeous. When I visited the first time, I could not stop like taking pictures, and it's truly just one of the best places I've ever been. There's so much history, and like, it's just amazing. I can't stop talking about Alabama when I'm home. All my friends, like, they complain about it because that's all I talk about. And if you are thinking about joining Greek life, I would highly suggest like looking into it. Like, it changed my life, but if it's not for you, then like, I'm not going to push you about it. But I would encourage thinking about it. And just roll Tide.
Great. Thomas, if you want to elaborate on that as well, maybe give advice just finishing your freshman year.
Yeah. My whole thing is just go for it. Honestly, like, if you're thinking about going far and Alabama's in the question, in the conversation, go for it. Just do it. It honestly, it's changed my life. It really has. It's just such a great environment. There's really no other place like it. And Jenna can like attest to this. I've visited so many schools, so many schools, and there really isn't a place that compares to Alabama. Once you step on the campus, you'll know. It's just it's a great place, and like I said, I couldn't have been happier with my decision, and roll Tide.
Great. Thanks, guys. Judy, I'm just going to bring you on because there's a few more questions. I do have a meeting in 4 minutes. So, Thomas, you can sign off if you want. I know you have big things to do on a Tuesday night.
I'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Roll Tide.
Judy, I think you're unmuted. There you go. So I do have a few questions in our last 4 minutes. Look at that. You didn't even need to bring on like professional tour guides or anything.
No, I got and if students want to do a 360 tour of our university before our campus tours open, or do information sessions, they are available right on our website, and they can sign up for information sessions for any of our 8 colleges. We have a Capstone Men and Women, which is like a student take on what it's like to be a student at the University of Alabama. But of course, these students already had 2 highly regarded students that they got to listen to today. And then we also have our 360-degree virtual tour.
Awesome. Is there a PA program? And if so, is it direct admit?
So for our physicians, is it, are they looking at?
Probably physician's assistant.
Physician's assistant. So we do have a program. It is direct admit, but there is testing that needs to be done to be able to continue with that. We will be getting a master's program, but that should be happening probably by the time these guys get to be sophomores.
Are free tutors available on campus?
Capstone of Center Success. Math and English are specific. I can't ever say that word right. And then in our Ingenuity Lab, there's free tutoring for our engineering majors.
How difficult is it to change your major?
You walk over to the place where you are, meet with your current advisor, and you say, I want to change my major. And they're like, okay. And then they call over to where the new place is. Maybe it's a different school, or if it's really simple, if it's in the same college. And then you just walk over to that advisor and you go, I want to change my major from this to this. And they go, okay. And there you're done.
Love it.
Great thing about a big university.
Yeah. Do you have teacher's assistants?
So some do, some classes do, but all classes are taught by professors.
Do you have details about University of Alabama, Huntsville?
That is a totally separate campus. I work for the University of Alabama, main campus, Tuscaloosa. Roll Tide.
Okay, awesome. I think we'll end on that. Thank you so much for being a part of this today. For those of you who have not seen the schedule for the rest of the events, I'll share it right now. Hopefully I'll bring on some other dynamic students like I had today. So we are about a third of the way through all of our Spotlight series. So we don't have Auburn, so no rivalry there with Alabama.
Roll Tide.
We do have some other SEC schools, I'm sorry, like Georgia.
No, you know what? SEC, we're a family, and that's all good. You know, when it comes to Auburn, you know, it's a deep-seated rivalry there.
Yeah, so no Auburn, just Alabama, the only school I have in Alabama. So, but thank you, Judy, for presenting today, and for your daughter. Make sure to cook her a great meal tonight if you cook.
Of course, I do every night.
And thanks, and I hope to see you in person soon.
I hope so too. And to our participants, if you want to reach out to me, you can find me on my website, but my email address is judys.bama@ua.edu. That's going to be the best way to reach me. And then from there, we can set up any time to talk if you want to have a little bit more in-depth conversation. I look forward to connecting with all of your students, Jenna.
And roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Bye.